Disclaimer: this story explores mature emotional themes such as trust, relationships, and betrayal. It contains no explicit content, but is intended for a mature audience. Viewer discretion is advised. It was supposed to be just a game. Four of us. Two couples. A quiet Friday night, a few drinks, some music, and that stupid card game we found online, the one meant to bring couples closer. We were all in our late 20s, secure in our relationships, or at least we thought we were. What started as light-hearted questions and harmless dares slowly turned into something else. Something uncomfortable. Revealing. Raw. I'm Jake. My girlfriend, Emily, and I have been together for 3 years. We're the stable couple, at least that's what people say. We live together, share bills, argue about laundry, and plan vacations that we may or may not take. Normal. Predictable. Then there's Marcus and Leah. They've only been dating for about 9 months. Still in that sweet spot where passion masks red flags. They're newer, louder, more playful. Always touching, always laughing like they're auditioning for a rom-com. So when Marcus suggested we all hang out at our place and try this relationship game he'd found, it sounded like fun. The rules were simple. Couples sit across from each other, draw cards, and answer questions, some deep, some flirty, some downright awkward. We were already a few drinks in, so no one hesitated. That was our first mistake. At first, it was silly stuff. Who made the first move? What's your partner's most annoying habit? Describe your first kiss. We laughed. We teased. We learned a few things, sure, but nothing earth-shattering. Then the questions got heavier. If your partner were offered their dream job in another city, would you follow them? Have you ever kept a secret that could damage your relationship? You could feel the energy shift. Emily stopped giggling. Leah's smile tightened. I watched Marcus glance at Leah a second too long before answering something about trusting her no matter what. That's when I knew something was off. I just didn't know how far it would go. And then came that card. It was Emily's turn. She picked it, read it, and blinked like she couldn't believe the question. She read it again. Then out loud. If you had to kiss someone in this room other than your partner, who would it be? And why? The room went dead silent. No one moved. No one laughed. The air felt like it had been sucked out, replaced by something sharp. I could see Emily's mind spinning. Leah looked away. Marcus leaned forward like he wanted to stop her from answering. But she did. And what she said next changed everything. I stared at Emily like I didn't know her. The words were out there. Hanging. Quiet. She hadn't chosen me. She hadn't even hesitated. She looked right at Marcus, and said, if I had to. I guess him. Then something about how he was easy to talk to or funny in a way that made people feel safe. I barely heard it. My ears were ringing. My girlfriend, the woman I shared a bed with, just admitted she'd kiss my best friend over me. And she was calm about it. Like it didn't matter. Leah laughed, too loud, too forced. She threw a pillow at Marcus and said something like, careful, Casanova, but her face was pale. She was trying to brush it off, to kill the moment before it grew teeth. But it was too late. We'd all felt it. Something had shifted. The game wasn't fun anymore. I tried to smile, act like I didn't care, but I could feel heat creeping up my neck. Emily reached for her drink. Marcus stared into his. Nobody made eye contact. The next card sat in the center of the table like a dare. Maybe I wouldn't have thought much of it. Maybe I could have passed it off as a weird moment, if it wasn't for everything else. The little things I'd been ignoring for weeks. The way Emily had started dressing up more for these casual hangouts. The private jokes between her and Marcus. How she always claimed she could talk to Marcus about anything, as if there were things she couldn't say to me. I'd noticed, but I'd shoved it down. Told myself I was being paranoid. Insecure. Now I wasn't so sure. I glanced at Leah. Her smile had dropped the second Emily looked away. She was watching Marcus, not like a girlfriend, but like someone piecing together a puzzle she didn't want to finish. Her hands were tight in her lap. That's the thing about these games, they're not about what's said. They're about what's exposed. The silences. The glances. The shifts in posture that speak louder than any answer. We kept playing. Sort of. The questions kept coming, but the answers got shorter. Safer. No one was really listening anymore. We were all watching each other. Measuring. Wondering. Later that night, after Leah and Marcus left, Emily and I didn't talk much. She said she was tired. I said I was fine. I wasn't. I laid awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if that moment at the table was just a spark or the start of a fire already burning behind my back. The next day, everything felt off. Emily moved around the apartment like nothing had happened, washing dishes, humming, scrolling through her phone. But the air between us was thick. We didn't fight. We didn't talk. It was that in-between place, where silence is a choice and every word feels dangerous. I kept replaying last night in my head. Not just what she said, but how she said it. Calm, casual, almost rehearsed. And it wasn't just Emily. Marcus had barely looked at me the whole night. And Leah? She sent me a message this morning. Just one line. Can we talk? Just us. That hit me harder than I expected. It was like confirmation of what? I wasn't sure yet, but it made my stomach twist. Leah wasn't the kind of person who texted for no reason. She was smart, observant, always quieter than Marcus, but sharper, too. She saw things. Maybe more than I gave her credit for. We met at a coffee shop near her work. She got there early. When I sat down, she didn't waste time. I think something's going on, she said, eyes locked on mine. Between them. I didn't answer right away, because part of me wanted to deny it, to say she was overthinking it. But I couldn't. Not after last night. You noticed it too? I asked. Leah nodded slowly. He gets weird when he talks about her. And she's different around him. Like she wants him to see her. And I think he does. The worst part? She wasn't even angry. She just looked tired. Hurt. Like she'd already played out this conversation in her head a dozen times and was just hoping I'd confirm it. Then she dropped something I hadn't seen coming. A few weeks ago, I saw a message pop up on his phone. From her. Late at night. He said it was just about some joke from a group chat. But I knew it wasn't. I didn't know what to say. My chest felt tight. Betrayal doesn't always hit you in loud moments. Sometimes it's quiet. Like a door slowly closing. That night, I asked Emily straight up. Have you and Marcus ever talked behind my back? She blinked. Hesitated. Then shrugged like I'd asked if she wanted Thai food or pizza. Just once or twice. It was nothing. I nodded. And I didn't push. Because I knew if I did, I might hear something I couldn't unhear. But in that moment, everything changed. This wasn't about a game anymore. It was about what people do when no one's watching. What they say in private. What they let slip when they think the truth won't catch up. And I wasn't sure I was ready for the answers. 2 nights later, I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked Emily's phone. She was in the shower. Her screen lit up with a message from Marcus. Just his name was enough to spike my pulse. I knew it was a violation. I knew it crossed a line. But I couldn't pretend anymore. I needed truth, not guesses. The message wasn't even long. Did you delete our chat from the other day? My stomach dropped. I scrolled up, and that's when everything cracked open. The messages weren't sexual. Not exactly. But they were worse in some ways, emotionally intimate, flirty in a way that required history. She told him things she hadn't told me. Things she should have told me. About feeling distant from me. About second thoughts. About how, if things were different, she wasn't sure what she'd choose. It was all right there. Not a full-blown affair, but a door left wide open. When she walked out of the bathroom, I was still holding her phone. She froze. Our eyes met. I didn't yell. I didn't throw it. I just held it out, shaking. You deleted the rest? Emily didn't deny it. She didn't cry. She just looked exhausted. And then she said something that hurt more than the messages. I didn't want to blow everything up. I laughed, sharp, bitter. You already did. That night wasn't like in movies. No slamming doors. No grand speeches. Just a quiet unraveling. She slept on the couch. I stared at the ceiling again, but this time it felt different. Like the walls were closing in. The next day, Marcus showed up. I didn't invite him. He just came. Knocked like nothing had happened. When I opened the door, we stared at each other for a full 5 seconds. Then he said, "Can we talk?" I almost slammed it in his face. But part of me wanted answers more than revenge. We sat outside on the steps. The sky was gray. The air still. He didn't deny anything either. I never meant for it to go there, he said. It just did. I asked him flat out. Did you two ever? No, he cut me off. It didn't get physical. But I thought about it. She did too. He looked ashamed. Not fake remorse, real regret. But it didn't make it easier. I asked him one last thing. Did you love her? His pause was all the answer I needed. Back inside, Emily was packing a bag. No yelling. No begging. We were past that. She turned once, eyes red. I didn't want to lose you. You did. And, just like that, she was gone. But the worst part? I wasn't even sure if I missed her or if I missed the version of us I thought we were. I thought it was over. Emily left. Marcus was gone. Leah stopped answering my texts. For the first time in years, I was alone. And in a weird way, it felt like a reset. Painful, but clean. Until the envelope showed up. No name. No return address. Just a small, thick envelope left at my door 3 days after Emily moved out. Inside was a flash drive. No note. No explanation. I almost tossed it, thinking it was some scam. But curiosity got the better of me. There was only one video file. I clicked play, and everything I thought I knew about what happened completely unraveled. It was footage from a phone camera. Shaky at first. Then it focused. Marcus. On a couch. Not mine. Leah's, maybe? He was pacing, talking to someone off-screen. I don't even know if she's serious about it, he said. Emily says one thing, but then acts like she's scared. I don't know, man. Maybe it's better if Jake finds out. Then Leah's voice came in. Calm. Cold. So tell him. He shook his head. Not yet. Let it come out naturally. If he finds the messages, it's on her. He sat down, rubbed his face. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. Either way, I've got what I need. What does that mean? Leah asked. Marcus smirked. Let's just say if this blows up, I'm not the one who's losing everything. That was it. No context. No timeline. But it didn't matter. I saw it clearly now. This wasn't some random emotional slip-up. It was planned. Or at least manipulated. Marcus had been pushing things. Feeding Emily doubts. Letting me, accidentally, see cracks. And the way he said I've got what I need, that wasn't love. That was leverage. And Leah? She knew. Maybe not everything, but enough. She filmed it. She baited him. And now, for some reason, she wanted me to see it. That night, I found her. She looked surprised when she opened the door. Not shocked. Just tired. You watched it, she said. Why now? I asked. Why send it to me? Leah shrugged. Because I was sick of being quiet. You deserved to know it wasn't all your fault. You could have said something sooner. I did, she replied. You just didn't want to hear it. There was more I wanted to ask, but nothing came out. My mind was spinning. Marcus hadn't just betrayed me, he'd manipulated the fallout to protect himself. And Emily? She'd walked right into it, not realizing she was being played, too. The worst part? I wasn't sure what to do with the truth. Because now I wasn't just heartbroken, I was angry. And I wasn't done. I didn't go after Marcus right away. I sat with it. Let it settle. Watched the video again. Watched his face. His smug little smirk. The way he tried to play both sides like some master manipulator. I kept asking myself, was this always the plan? Or did he just take advantage of what was already breaking? Either way, I wasn't letting it slide. He was hosting a birthday get-together that weekend. Low-key, just a few friends. He probably thought I wouldn't show. He was wrong. I walked in, and everything stopped. Emily was there. Of course she was. She looked surprised to see me, nervous even. But Marcus? He smiled like I was an old friend. "Jake," he said. "Didn't think you'd come." "I wasn't planning to," I replied. Then I watched something interesting. That got his attention. He shifted. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and played the video. Just the first 20 seconds. Just enough for the room to go quiet. Emily's face went pale. Someone whispered, "Is that Marcus?" I looked at him. "Tell them what you meant by, 'I've got what I need.'" "Go ahead." He didn't have a comeback this time. Just silence. Eyes darting. A crack in the mask. Emily stood, shaken. "You recorded that?" I looked at her, but not with hate, just clarity. "No." Leah did. The silence in the room was sharp. Everyone was watching, but I didn't care. This wasn't about the crowd. This was about finally putting it down. "I trusted you," I said, voice steady. "Both of you. And you made a game out of it." Emily's lip trembled. "I didn't know, but you let it happen," I cut in. "That's what hurts. You let him push the wedge and didn't stop him. You chose what was easy over what was honest." Marcus stepped forward like he was about to defend himself. I stopped him with a look. "Don't." He froze. Then I did something nobody expected. I handed Marcus the flash drive. "Keep it," I said. "Frame it. Play it on your birthday every year. Because that's the moment you lost more than you'll ever understand." And I walked out. No yelling. No dragging it out. Just the end of whatever that version of us was. Outside, Leah was waiting in her car. She didn't ask what happened. Just looked at me and nodded like she already knew. I opened the door, sat down beside her. For the first time in weeks, I exhaled. But even then, I couldn't shake the feeling there was still one more thing I didn't know. And I was right. It's been 3 months. The dust has settled, but the scars haven't faded completely, and maybe that's okay. Not all wounds need to be erased. Some just need to be understood. Emily never reached out again. Not to apologize, not to explain. And honestly, I respect that. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. She took her own path, and I took mine. We both learned what happens when you ignore the cracks until they become canyons. Marcus tried to spin things for a while. Told mutual friends the video was taken out of context, that he didn't mean it like that. But people saw the truth. His version of the game cost him more than a friendship. It cost him his reputation. And deep down, I think he knows it. Leah and we've talked. A lot, actually. Not romantically. Just as people who've both been burned, both caught in something bigger than they realized. She told me she never meant to film Marcus originally. She just started recording because something felt off, and when she caught what he said, she sat on it for weeks, unsure what to do. I'm glad she didn't stay silent. What surprised me most was how healing those conversations became. We weren't rehashing drama, we were processing it. She helped me see that the whole game started way before that couple's night. It started the moment we all stopped saying what we really felt and started playing it cool, pretending things were fine. Relationships don't break all at once. They rot quietly, slowly, when people stop being honest. When communication gets replaced with guessing games and silence. I started going to therapy. I know that's not the most dramatic ending, but honestly, it's been the most important part of all this. I needed to figure out why I ignored the red flags, why I didn't speak up, why I let resentment grow instead of cutting it off early. Turns out, I had some growing up to do too. Now, I'm focusing on rebuilding. Trust, confidence, real connections. Nothing flashy, nothing performative. Just honest conversations and mutual respect. I'm not in a new relationship, and I'm not rushing to be. That used to feel like failure. Now it feels like freedom. So yeah, what started as a silly game night turned into the most painful, eye-opening chapter of my life. But I wouldn't erase it, because I came out of it knowing who I am and who I'll never let myself be again. And that's something worth holding on to. Did you enjoy this story? What kind of stories would you like to hear next? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.